Hello everyone and welcome to part 17 of my Dark Souls full video walkthrough. Today we'll be finishing off the central area of Anor Londo. So after the bonfire, in the room opposite, there is a single silver knight. He is the spear wielding type. Now, these can be a bit of a hassle to fight because they have their shields up even while attacking. So you can parry them, you can run around and fish for backstabs, or you can kick the shields aside. And in that chest there's 3 Sunlight medals, which are really only relevant if you're actually in the Warriors of Sunlight Covenant. And past the spiral staircase here, or rather helix staircase, there's another silver knight. This is a sword variety. I find them easier to fight, and as before, parries are very effective, especially because they give you nice damage, even if you're not using a very powerful weapon. Then in here, this room seems to be empty, but there's a rather not so subtle hidden passage through the fireplace. And this is quite a large and dark room. And the first thing to see down here is this chest, which, as you can tell from the chain, is a mimic. And it's actually a very useful mimic, or rather his drop is very useful. It doesn't look like it, but I'll get into the use for it in a later video. Suffice it to say, this occult club is pretty handy to have. And then here we have 4 treasure chests. They contain the Dragon Tooth, Havel's Great Shield, and the entire Havel's armor. This is an incredible heavy set of armor, and both the Great Shield and the Dragon Tooth are also incredibly heavy. It is also one of the most defensively powerful armor set, but it obviously weighs you down a lot. So a lot of new players put this on immediately because it has incredible defense values, but the weight can be quite troublesome. Now up the stairs to the right here, this room really has nothing to see in it. You can look down, but there's nothing you can do here. The door on the other side, however, can be opened, and there's firstly a spear-wielding enemy in there. And secondly, we can look down. And if you're a sorcerer, you can also defeat the Titanite demon down there. Now, this only works with sorcery and fire bombs, but fire bombs barely do any damage, so you would need to throw down basically 99 black fire bombs and 99 normal fire bombs, and that might still not kill the Titanite demon. But sorcery, because of the way it's cast, you hold your catalyst quite high, and thereby the railing doesn't stop sorceries. Pyromancies and miracles both cannot make it. Same with bow and arrow. So sorcery is the only ranged way to kill that Titanite demon from up there, which is obviously absolutely safe. I'll show you the melee way as well in a moment. Now in this open space here, there's more mimics. As I said previously, you can check the chain, and that tells you if it's a mimic, or you can just attack it, and that will also tell you if it's a mimic. At the end of this corridor, there's one of the great bow using silver knights. But this one's a lot less trouble than the 2 we encountered last episode, simply because he can't knock you off anywhere. This door here is locked, we'll get to that. And this one we can enter. Now behind this corner there is an enemy. If your weapon is long enough, you can actually kill him through the wall, but this halberd was not long enough. He does try to ambush you, but if you know about it, then obviously it's not much of an issue. Now we enter the outside area for a moment, and I would suggest going across and dealing with this sword guy first. There is another silver knight to the right, but he doesn't actually aggro onto you if you're going this way. So you need to get a little bit closer, and he's not going to cause any issues here.
Whatever can be done. Ah, you again. Let me guess. Were you repelled by the Silver Knights? Oh, don't be ashamed. 'Tis the fate of vanguards like you and I. I'll think of something. We can overcome this together. This is quite a fix. We'll need another 3, no, maybe 5 bodies. Quite a fix indeed.
So once again we're going to have to help this bumbling knight out. He is very much troubled by these silver knights in this room. There's one again ambushing you behind the corner, and then there's 2 more out in the room. And as you can see, if you're careful, you can get them separately without too much trouble. And my parry timing on them is not that great, as you can see. But you can also, as I said, fish for backstabs or use any other tactics you want to use, really. They're not very tough. But very important in this room, there's a chest with 2 Demon Titanite in it. And then this is the locked door that I showed you earlier. This was the corridor where the archer was firing at us.
Oh ho! What's on your mind, friend? Wait, you defeated those monsters? Fantastic! I'm saved! This Knight of Katarina hereby commends you. Take this as a token of my gratitude. But be warned, gallantry entails great risks. Next time, give me a chance to come up with a plan.
Now he will only be here if you spoke to him in Sans Fortress and redirected the boulders. And this is the archer I was talking about earlier. He only aggroes if you move a little closer. And if you move into melee range, they switch to a sword and shield combo. However, they can't actually drop the sword or shield. The ones that regularly carry them can drop them, but the ones that regularly carry a bow will only ever drop the Dragon Slayer arrows. Now here I would strongly suggest going right first, because we can open up a shortcut. Down there is a spear knight. He will be approaching you before you even get down the stairs. So if you don't want to fight him on the staircase, which can be a bit finicky, you can just pull him up here, and it's a little bit safer. The other knight down there is guarding 2 chests, and he will only ever become aggressive if you're quite close to him. So if you don't want to fight him, you don't have to. And the chests contain the Silver Knight set, which is pretty heavy, and unfortunately the cloak doesn't really have any cloth physics to it, which is why I don't particularly like it. But if you feel like using it, that's where you get it. Now the reason I told you to go this way first and open up that shortcut down there is because on the other side there's the Titanite demon. And this is a very, very strong one. He is stronger than the ones in Sans Fortress. And you're also fighting him in a very confined space, and it can be quite awkward to get around him here, which for a melee fighter is the way to go. You want to circle around him, and if he's got his back to a wall, it's quite difficult. He also has far more health and damage than the ones in Sans Fortress. So if you don't need the Demon Titanite for anything, this is an enemy you might want to skip. There's no other benefit. He doesn't guard any other treasures. You don't need to go past him. He is in this section of room specifically because he's a very tough enemy, and the developers wanted you to be able to avoid him. However, if you actually need the Demon Titanite, then he drops 2 of them, which is quite nice. And you need 10 in total to fully upgrade a Demon Titanite weapon. We'll get to that in a moment. Now out here in the Great Hall, I'm going to go up these stairs first. Note that I'm not making any footstep noises on this character because of the slumbering Dragon Crest ring. And we can go through this broken window and across this ledge here. Then if we roll, we can make it across the fence and grab the Dragon Slayer Great Bow, which is the bow that these archers have been using on us, so now we can use it as well, even though it's not really that great. And then, best way to open against this gargoyle is with a plunging attack. These gargoyles in general can be a bit tedious to fight. They do lightning damage, which is not so easy to block, and they are quite quick. On the plus side, however, they have no poise, so they are interrupted and knocked back with everything, basically. And then this is a shortcut you can open. This leads to the area just before the archers from last episode, so you don't have to go past them ever again once you've opened this up. Now down here there's one more gargoyle. As you can see, I blocked that, and it still did quite a chunk of damage simply because it's lightning damage on their weapon. And this corpse just holds a Titanite chunk. Now in here we have another NPC, but he doesn't talk much, so I haven't done any overlays here. Behind him, quite well hidden, there's a chest with the hawk ring. A bit finicky to get, but it's fine.
Hello, forge I can, strong I am.
And that's really all he says. You can buy some upgrade materials here, including Twinkling Titanite, which is handy. He sells some arrows and the giant set. Most importantly, however, you can use a weapon at plus 10 and combine it with a soul. In this case, an Uchigatana plus 10 plus the soul of Quelaag makes the Chaos Blade. Similarly, I could use the Iron Golem soul together with my claws to make the Golem Fist, which I do not intend to do. And these weapons are then upgraded with Demon Titanite. It's quite expensive, and these weapons aren't generally that great, but they can have some cool special effect. In this case, the Chaos Blade is pretty strong in terms of raw damage, but whenever you hit, you also take a bit of damage. So it's a downside to it. And I've already done this on one of the characters I'm going to show you in a second, or if you've seen the character update, the character that started out as a thief, Snatch, has got a weapon that I made this way. Firstly, there's another archer here. And then we can enter the Great Hall proper. Now here you get the message that you feel the black eye orb quivering. We'll see that in a moment. This will only happen if you didn't prevent Lautrec from killing the Firekeeper at Firelink Shrine. If she's dead and you picked up the black eye orb, this is where you can use it to basically avenge her and get her back. If you didn't, if you killed Lautrec beforehand, then obviously all of this will never happen because you don't have the black eye orb. Now here these giant sentinels are being a bit finicky. Usually they break aggro a lot more easily, but in this case the further away one decided to stick around anyway. And generally they are quite strong, and in addition to their physical moves, they also have some miracles that they use. Here we see Wrath of the Gods, and they can also heal themselves, so they're a bit stronger than the previously encountered sentinels in earlier parts of Anor Londo. There's another shortcut we can open right here by pushing this lever. And this opens the huge gate into this hall. And again, this takes us to before the archers. So there's actually two very close shortcuts here that both mean you don't have to go past the archers ever again. Now I'm going to equip the Black Eye Orb. The event is quite difficult, and so it's quite easy to die here. Now on the upside, you don't actually lose your souls if you die, but you still get put to the previous bonfire and you have to run back into the Great Hall to use it again. It should also be noted that because this is sort of supposed to be a bit like the PvP of the game, you will not be able to heal yourself with Estus. Any other means of healing still work. So healing miracles, popping humanities, divine blessing, all of those are still fine. You just can't use Estus. And here we see Snatch, as I've told you, the character who has a special weapon. This is the Life Hunt Scythe, and it is pretty cool. Now in this event there are 3 enemies which will be fighting you. It's not possible to pull these separately, they will always be together.
I thought you, but I thought wrong.
And a very nice and convenient way to defeat them is to pull them away, and this can get them separately. They will follow you forever, you can't break aggro from them, but you can use this for some reason rather complicated staircase, at least for the AI it's quite complicated, to separate them out a little bit, and especially because of all the railings here and the twisted turns, the mage will not be likely to hit you. So you only have to worry about the spear guy and Lordrek himself. Now the event finishes once you've killed Lordrek, so that's your target. You can kill the other 2, but there's no benefit to it. They don't drop anything, they don't give any souls. You can kill them to get them out of the way, but Lordrek is the one who has to die if you want to finish the event. So this may seem a bit boring, but running around really does help. In addition to that, you can use poison arrows, much like against the archers last episode. I'm not going to show this to you because it takes a long time. The archers died in 1 set of poison, basically. If you poison Lordrek, it takes 2 sets of poison before he dies. But now here Lordrek is dead. The others will still attack me and I can still die, but I have successfully completed the event, and even if I died now, I would still have successfully completed it. However, obviously, you can also stay alive by just keeping your distance. Now the reward for doing this is the Ring of Favor and Protection and Humanities and a Firekeeper Soul. Now the Ring of Favor and Protection and the 5 Humanities you would have gotten if you killed Lordrek at Firelink as well. The Firekeeper Soul is a unique Firekeeper Soul. It is the one belonging to the Firekeeper at Firelink. You should not, I repeat, not use this soul to upgrade your Estus Flask to +4 at this point. Now you could go back to the Firekeeper in Anor Londo and upgrade it. You should not do that. You can also use this soul to bring the Firekeeper at Firelink back, meaning that bonfire will be active again. That is what you should do. Unless you really know what you're doing and you really know you don't need it, you really want that bonfire back. It is very handy. Okay, that's this section dealt with. Now I'm just going to very quickly show you the boss. There will be a boss guide. This is a very infamous and difficult boss. I'm just going to show you how it can be done quite quickly and what to do after you've defeated it, and also obviously showing you the intro cutscene. Now I should note that this boss is really meant to be fought in co-op. You can do it solo, and many people think it's much more fulfilling to kill it solo, but to some extent you are supposed to have help here. But again, there will be more of a full boss guide. This is my mage. He's at low HP and has the red tearstone ring effect active, so you can see exactly how much damage I am outputting here. It is insane. Obviously, if anything even touches me, I'm dead, but the damage numbers are massive. And once you've killed one of them, the other one changes into a second form, which is more powerful. In this case, it's generally easier to kill Ornstein first, the little fast one. And this makes Smaug, the big fat one, just get lightning powers. He is stronger, but not by much. The other way around, the buffed version of Ornstein is more troublesome. And the way to go here is just use the pillars and trick the boss. Especially for mages, this is very easy. As always, I choose the easiest character I had, to put the boss fight into the actual area completion. And then for the boss guide, I'll be showing you varieties of builds and approaches. As I said, this is not really about a full guide here. And now that's dealt with, I'm just going to quickly move to the next bonfire, and we'll explore the rest of the area next time around. So yeah, I hope this was somewhat helpful and you saw some cool new stuff. And as always, I would love some feedback. What did you like? What didn't you like? Have a good day, and bye bye.